Hello, I am Dr. Shashank Sau from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. In this video, I am going to talk about exception handling, which is the topic of subject web technology. Subject code is KCS 602. First important part is what is the exception? Exception is basically error, and which type of exception it will occur. So it will occur at the run time. So any error which is occur at the run time we call as a exception. Now whenever we write a program, when this type of runtime error occur, then the program terminated abnormally and user is not able to work on that program. So you must have some way to handle this type of error at the runtime. So exception handling come in the picture. If any error come runtime, you are able to handle it. So basically it is dedicated for any runtime errors, problems, mistakes, and we call as a exception. Now how will you handle this exception in the Java? So Java provide two type of statement to handle the exception. The first one is try, second is catch. So with the help of these two statement provided by Java, we can handle the runtime exception, or you can say error, or you can say problem. When you are able to handle the exception, then program will not terminate abnormally, and if some error will occur, program will still work and user is able to continue with the software. Now understand what is the try block. So try block is used to put those statements in which exceptions are likely to occur. When we write the program in the Java and we think that in this program the error will occur, exception will occur, then put that block in the try block. So these are the statements when you are thinking and where some error will occur, some exception will occur, then put those block in the try. Second part is catch block. What will happen if something is error is occur in the try block? Where the program will go? So if any exception is occur in the try block, any error is occur in the try block, then it will move to the catch block. So catch block is the group of statement that will handle the runtime errors. So handle the exception handling, there are two statements. One is try, second is catch. In the try, we have the set of instruction in which error may be occur, or you can say exception may be occur. And catch is the block that will caught the exception and handle the exception so that your program will continue. Now we will discuss this exception handling program with an example. Suppose there is a class A, the program is written in Java and two variables are there, A equal to 0 and B equal to 20, and we have given a mathematical expression B by A. So what we are doing, we are making a division by 0. We are dividing B by 0. So it is a type of divide by 0. So we can see that the program will terminate immediately. So we need to handle this type of error. So in this simple program, we are not using any exception handling. If you put this program, if it is a small software, it will run at the client side and the value of A equal to 0. So program will terminate abnormally and your program will not continue. So this is the program code in which we are not using any exception handling. In the next part, we will discuss when apply the exception handling, what will happen, how we can handle this type of error. So this is the program with the exception handling. Same program is there, class A. Then we are using the try block and we are using the catch block. Now we can say A equal to 0, B equal to 20 and C equal to B by A. So here we are dividing the value of B by 0. So it is a divide by 0 error. So at this point an exception will raise and the further instruction are not executed. You can see C equal to B by A and system.out.println is the next statement. So first you understand at which point the exception will occur. After that statement, no execution is possible. So system will understand it is an exception, Java will understand it is an exception, it will throw an exception, or you can say raise an exception. and that exception will be catch in this catch statement. So whenever you are catching a statement, you must understand which type of exception you are catching. So it is a mathematical expression, that is C equal to B by A. So it is comes under the category, or you can say it is come under the class of arithmetic exception. So in the catch block, you need to write the type of exception you are going to handle. So in this program C equal to B by A, it is an arithmetic exception. So we have written the class arithmetic exception. Then we have to write an object name that will, store your exception. Okay, so in the catch block, we are writing the name of the class, a type of exception you are going to handle. Then we are writing the object, E object. Here you can write any object, E1, B1, whatever you want to like. But very important, the arithmetic exception, this class is predefined. You have to write as it is, then you can write the object name. So when this exception will occur, C equal to B by A, the program control will switch to the catch block, and it will give a message to the user system.out.println with the help of Java statement divide by 0 error. So user will understand that this is the divide by 0 error, and program will not terminate it abnormally. Program is still in the working position and user can take some other action. Now in this program, two important parts. The first part is, if there is an exception, the further instructions are not executed and it will go to the catch block. Just assume that the value of A equal to 1. So in this mathematical equation B by A, there is no arithmetic error. The instruction is executed properly. In that case, when there is no exception, it will move to system.out.println statement, yani next statement. It will not go to the catch block. So this program is telling it, when there is an exception will occur, it move to the catch block. If there is no exception, for example, if value of A equal to 1, the exception will not occur, then it will not go to the catch block and it will execute the further instruction system.out.println C. Now we will look for the further in detail about the exception handling. Now here the example of multiple catch example. One try block, many catch block. This example is discussing many other part also. So we have class name is demo exception and we have the main method. Then we are using a scanner class. In this case, we are getting the input from the user. In the earlier, the value of A is fixed. In this case, we are taking the value of A from the user. To take any value from the user, we are using the scanner class. So we are using a scanner class, object is SC. Then we define two variables D and A. We define an array of type int and it has only one element. Now to get a value from the user, we have used sc.nextInt. So if the user is given some value, it will be stored in the D. Now from this point, you will understand the way of execution of the program. Suppose user has given the value 0, then the value of D will be 0 and here A equal to 10 by D. So it is what? It is a divide by 0 error, exception will occur and these instructions are not executed further and it will directly move to catch block. Which catch block? There are two catch blocks. One is arithmetic exception and second is array index out of bound exception. So when the exception will occur, it will find out respective catch block. It is a arithmetic exception, so it will move to the catch block of arithmetic exception and it will display the value divide by 0 error. Now suppose user has given the value 2, value of D equal to 2, then there is a no arithmetic exception will occur at A equal to 10 by D. Then it will execute further instructions. Further instruction is value of C is already defined of type 1 element. We are storing the value 1 at index number 0. Then we are storing value of 100 at index number 42. Now, and the array C is defined of type 1 element, but what we are trying to do, we are storing the value in an index which is not defined in the array, because size of array is 1 and we are storing the value more than one size. So, index is 42, 42 index is not present in this array. So, we try to store the value of 100 at the index which is not available in the C array. What will happen? It will create an error. That is an exception. When the exception will occur, again it will move to the cache block. But which cache block? There are two cache blocks are there. The first one is arithmetic exception, second is array index out of bound exception. So, here we are storing the value out of bound of the array, because array is of type 1 element. So, it will move to the cache array index out of bound exception and it display the message to the user array index out of bound exception, and it will display stack trace also, which is already stored in the object E. So, in this program demonstrate two, three things important part. The first is in a one try block we can have more than one cache block. Second, it explained that according to the type of exception it will move to the respective cache block. If there is a arithmetic exception, it will move to the arithmetic exception. If there is a array index out of bound exception, it move to the array index out of bound exception. Let's go in next slide. So, two catch statements with one try statements are used in this program. A try statement may have more than one catch statement. It is also demonstrating that it's not necessary we have only one cache block. We can have more than one cache block in the program. A try can have more than one cache block in the program. Next example is nested try example. One try example, within that one try, again one more try block. So, we are going to discuss this nested try example. Now, in this we have a class demo nest. In the demo nest we have defined some variables arguments dot length. Now, here you understand first main method. So, in the main method we are receiving the number of arguments from command line. You know very well, whenever we defining a Java program, we have to we are writing public static void main, and within the main we are writing an array of type string. The purpose of this array of type string is to receive the value from the command line whenever we run this program and we give the arguments. So, all this argument will be stored in an array of type arguments. Okay. So, M will receive the number of arguments. Suppose you have given two arguments, so value of M will be 1. If you have given one argument, then value of M will be 1. Okay. So, if given 3 arguments, the value of M will be 2. So, according to the number of arguments you have given at the time of running this program, the value of M will be there. Now, suppose the value of M equal to 1. So, it will display the value M here, how many number of arguments you have given. Then look for, now it will go to the second try block. We have, this is the first try block, this is the second try block, that is nested try block, and the value of M equal to 1. If value of M equal to 1, this if statement will be executed and this arithmetic equation will be executed. So, you can see here again it is a divide by 0 error, because 1 minus 1 equal to 0, we are dividing by 0 here. Now, what will happen? After this, no statements are executed because we get an exception here. Then it look for the catch block. So, this is the second try and its respective catch is this one. But what is happening here? Here the catch consists of array index out of bound exception. But this exception is arithmetic exception, but catch is not present in inner try block. When a respective catch is not present in inner try block, then it will look for the outer try block. So, outer try block is here. So, it will go for the catch for the outer try block. In the outer try block, we have arithmetic exception E. This exception will here, and it will jump directly from if statement to the catch block arithmetic exception E, and it will display value divided by 0. What we are going to demonstrate here? Here I am going to demonstrate here is that if there is a nested try block and some error will occur, or you can say exception will occur within a inner try block and respective catch block is not present in inner try block, then it will look for the respective catch block in outer try block by the Java machine JVM. Okay. Now suppose the value of m equal to 2, so it will come here. If m equal to 2, there is no exception, arithmetic exception. When m equal to 2, we have C have defined of type 1 element. Again we try to store the value of 25 in the index, which is not present in the array because array size of 1 element. So it will look for respective catch block. This time this catch is already present in inner try block. So inner try block we have the catch array index out of bounds. It will move to the inner try block, inner catch, and display the message array index out of bounds, and it will display the E, value of E, that is stack trace. So in case of array index out of bound exception, this catch block is present in inner try block, so no need to go outside. In case of arithmetic exception, the inner try block, no catch is present for related to arithmetic exception, then it will move to the outer catch block. So this example demonstrates that not necessary we have all the catch in inner try block. When the inner try block does not have any catch, respective catch, then automatically move to the outer catch block. So this is the demonstration of nested try example. Next, when you run this program, what will happen? As I explained, you will run this program at the DOS prompt when Java demo nest value of m equal to 0, because it is the name of the program. You are not giving any arguments. So value of m equal to 0. So in this program, no output is there. When m equal to 1, then there is something will happen. When m equal to 2, then the logic is mentioned here. Now 1. Next, Java demo nest Amit. Amit is, there is a 1 argument. So m equal to 1. So I already discussed when there is a m equal to 1, this is m equal to 1, then it will execute this instruction and it will go to the respective catch block. Next, we are running with 2 arguments, Amit and Sarma. So here the number of arguments are 2, that is m equal to 2. So I discussed when m equal to 2, it will execute this instruction and it will go to the catch block of array index out of bounds exception. So this is the way how will you run this program in the DOS prompt, and you will pass the number of you will pass the arguments to this program. Next is hierarchy of Java exception classes. So the super class is throwable. Whenever you work on the exception handling, remember you must know the hierarchy of the exception classes, because in the catch block you need to write the respective exception, respective classes of the exception. Okay. So super class is throwable. The subclasses of throwable is exception and error. Now in the exception, there are some subclasses: IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception. Then we have runtime exception. Again in the runtime exception, we have subclasses arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, and other subclasses are mentioned. Then we have error. In the error, we have stack overflow error exception, virtual machine error, and out of memory error. Okay. So this is the hierarchy. At the top level, we have the super class is throwable, and the major subclasses are exception and error. Then further subclasses are defined. Then again in the within the exception, the major important class is runtime exception. Then the other part is array is defined. I am going in detail about in these classes. Now basically there are 3 categories of exception. The first one is checked exception, unchecked exception, and error. Now understand the checked exception. These exceptions are checked at compile time. Meaning is, when you type the program, save the program, when you compile the program, at that time the exception is checked. The classes which are directly inherits the throwable class except runtime exception and error are known as a checked exception, like IO exception, SQL exception. So in this hierarchy you can see these are the classes. These are the classes comes under the checked exception. These exceptions are checked at the runtime. Next is unchecked exception. Unchecked exceptions are not checked at compile time. They checked at runtime, but they are checked at runtime. These classes which inherits runtime exception are known as unchecked exception. So the classes, these are the classes are unchecked exception. All these exceptions are checked, or you can say observed by the JVM, Java Virtual Machine, at the time of running the program, at the time of running. So these are called unchecked exception. So I discussed two categories: checked exception, when the exceptions are checked, or you can say looked by Java Virtual Machine at the compile time. Second is unchecked exception, that is, these are the exceptions that will checked at the runtime. Third category is error. Error is also unchecked exception. So it defines exceptions that are not expected to be called by under normal circumstances by the program. So there are some exceptions which are related to the system, not related to the program. So like Stack Overflow error, virtual machine error, and out of memory error. So all this category of exceptions come under the category error, and these are the unchecked exception. Next, I discuss about throw keyword. So whatever I discuss up to this level, in which the exception is raised by the Java Virtual Machine, is raised by the Java whenever you are running the program. Now suppose you want to create the exception, you want to generate the exception. How will you do it? So the throw keyword is provided by Java, by which we can create the exception, or you can say we can generate the exception explicitly. That is, programmer is generating the exception. Earlier, whatever I discussed, it is generated by the logical error. It is generated by the runtime, by the Java, automatically, implicitly. But with the help of throw keyword, you can generate the exception. Programmer can generate the exception explicitly. What is the format? Format is you have to write the throw keyword. Then you write the object here, throwable instance object. Now, throwable instance object of type throwable or a subclass of throwable. So whatever the object was mentioned, it should be of type throwable. Now, primitive types such as int, character, as well as non-throwable classes such as string and object cannot be used as an exception. So here, whenever you are going to generate the exception with the help of programming, then you will use only the subclasses of throwable. Primitive things like int, character, as well as string and object, you cannot generate the exception of for these things like primitive types as well as non-throwable classes. So there are two ways you can obtain an object for throwable object. I am talking about this one. You have to create the object for this one. Okay. So there are two ways by which we can create the object. The first is using a parameter in the catch block. You will use the name of the classes in the catch block. The object is created. Second, creating one with the new operator. So there are two ways. So flow of execution stops immediately after the throw statement and subsequent statements are not executed. So whenever the exception is generated, any statement after that is not executed. Now, when we generate an exception, what will happen? The nearest enclosing try block is inspected to see if it has a catch statement that matches the type of exception. If it does not find a match, control is transferred to the statement. If not, then the next enclosing try statement is inspected and so on. If no matching catch is found, then the default exception handler halts the program and prints the stack trace. Next, I am going to demonstrate with the help of an example how will you generate the exception explicitly. Now, there is a class is demo throw. We have a procedure A. Now, here we are using the throw keyword and we are generating an exception of type null pointer exception. So, an object is created. Internal name of this null pointer exception is demo. So, at this point exception is generated. It look for the respective cache block. It is null pointer exception and it will display the value system.out.println. Now, this class demo throw is defined. We are creating an object of this demo throw. A is the object and we defining explicitly generating the exception with the help of throw. So, we are calling procedure A dot procedure A. So, this program generate an exception explicitly and in respective cache block it will be called. Now, explanation of the program. The main function called the method procedure A, which is defined in the class A. Class demo throw generates an external exception called null pointer exception using a new point operator. The catch block in procedure A receives null pointer exception and displays the message. Now, second example. In the second example, we have throw demo 1. One class is and one procedure is defined demo procedure. We are generating an exception explicitly with the help of throw keyword and the type of exception that we are generating is null pointer exception. So, it will catch here and when it will execute the instruction of the cache system.out.println, it will display the caught inside demo procedure and throw E. Again we rethrow this object. When we rethrow this object, what will happen? It will go to the main method because main method call this procedure. So, look for the main method. In the main method, we have a try block, we have a demo procedure will be called here and we rethrow this exception. This rethrow exception will be catched by caller function. The caller function is main function. So, it will come here respective cache block and display null pointer exception and it will display system.out.println recaught and display the stack trace in the E. So, this is the output caught inside demo procedure and when we rethrow the exception, so it will display recaught and it will display the stack trace Java language null pointer exception demo. Thank you very much.